The campus queen said she'd only date the lowest ranked guy. So every guy started skipping class and turning in blank tests. I was the only one studying like crazy. I ranked first for 2 straight years. Every guy on campus stared at me in confusion. Wasn't Ethan Hayes her biggest simp? Why'd he suddenly stop chasing her? What they didn't know was I'd been reborn. In my last life, I blew my entire fortune chasing Audrey Prescott. But as I lay dying, I saw her holding her true love. She glared at me with pure hatred. You should have died long ago. Then Nolan wouldn't have waited all these years for me. Back on campus after being reborn, under everyone's nosy stares, I didn't even glance at Audrey. I turned and sprinted off campus. I'd remembered something far more important. Today wasn't just the day Audrey's mom got hurt. It was also the day Chloe Sterling left the country. In my last life, I chased Audrey and fought with my family and friends countless times. In the end, everyone abandoned me. Chloe begged me not to turn on my family over Audrey. She said Audrey wasn't worth it. But I snapped at her. What I do is my business. It has nothing to do with you. Stay out of it. If you can't stand me either, then leave. We're not friends anymore. I'll never forget the look on her face. With tears in her eyes, she asked, Ethan Hayes, do I really mean that little to you? But I was blind. And I said something even crueler. Later, she really left. She went abroad and never came back. It wasn't until the day I died that I finally saw the truth. The woman I chased my whole life never even saw me as human. Chloe, the one I'd pushed away, was the one who loved me most. I ran all the way to the KU School of Business, but she was nowhere in sight. Hey, do you know where Chloe Sterling is? No idea. Did she already withdraw? Was she already on the plane? I was about to pull out my phone when I turned and ran into a guy. His chips spilled all over the floor. Sorry. I was looking for Chloe and didn't see you. You're looking for the Sterling heiress? She's at Baxter Athletic Center. But I wouldn't go if I were you. She's in a really bad mood. Before he could finish, I took off like the wind. A huge crowd packed the entrance to Baxter Boxing Studio. KU only has 2 campus queens. Now one's leaving. There'll be nothing beautiful left to brighten my day through those brutal 8 a.m. classes. Exactly. I haven't even spoken to Ms. Sterling yet. Why? You think you've got a shot at that goddess? Dream on. As soon as I ran in, I saw a huge crowd of students. They called Audrey a 1,000-year ice queen and Chloe 10,000-year sunshine. I couldn't agree more. Her arms gave me the last bit of warmth I ever felt in this life, hotter than 10,000 suns. I slowly pushed through the crowd. Inside the massive studio, I saw her tall figure pounding a heavy bag. The weight on my chest vanished. She hadn't left. Thank God. But I completely missed the dark cloud around her. Mia Parker opened a bottle and held it out. You've been at it forever. Have some water. The swinging bag nearly knocked it from her hand. Grace Morgan shook her head. Leave her alone. She's in a terrible mood. You'll get caught in the crossfire. I saw her tightly furrowed brow and the obvious fury in her eyes. I couldn't help thinking of what I'd said yesterday. Was that why she was so upset? What's Ethan doing here? Isn't he always chasing Audrey? The crowd began to stir. The moment our eyes met, she froze. Then she silently looked away. I walked over with my head down, racking my brain for an apology. But she scoffed before I could speak. What, Mr. Hayes? Afraid I won't leave? Did you come to see me off? We'd been childhood friends for over a decade. We'd used every name and nickname imaginable, even silly pet names and insults. But she'd never called me Mr. Hayes. In such a cold, cutting way. I glanced at her friends, closed my eyes and braced myself. Miss Chloe. Chloe jolted like she'd been shocked. She slowly turned around and stared at me in disbelief. Ethan Hayes, are you possessed? A smile crept into my eyes. It worked. I'd already gone from Mr. Hayes back to Ethan Hayes. I stepped in front of her and bowed deeply. I'm sorry. I lost my head yesterday. That's why I said those awful things. Can you forget I said them and forgive me? And please don't leave. Okay? The moment I asked her to stay, it was like a cool breeze, sweeping away the gloom in her heart. Her lips secretly curled upward. She casually pulled off her gloves and tossed them aside. You actually apologized. That's a first. But then she thought it over, and the warmth in her eyes vanished. Ethan Hayes, don't think I'll help you chase Audrey. I'm done chasing her. This time, Chloe was truly stunned. She looked like she couldn't trust her ears. What did you say? I'm done chasing her. Seriously. The next second, she put her hand on my forehead. Something's definitely wrong. Do you have a fever? She wasn't the only one who didn't believe me. Neither did anyone watching. As Chloe tried to take me to Redwood Student Health Center, I pulled her hand down. I don't have a fever, and I'm perfectly sane. I know you may not believe me yet, but she didn't hear another word I said. All her attention was on the hand I was holding. Suddenly, my desk mate called from the door. Ethan. I turned around. There you are. Rebecca Shaw wants you in her office right now. I gotta go. Jake grabbed me and pulled me away. No time. It's urgent. I nodded and let go of Chloe's hand. Can you wait for me? I'll explain when I get back. Chloe Sterling, please don't leave. Watching us, Grace began to grow suspicious. Mia didn't notice a thing. If anything, she thought I was ridiculous. What a joke. Chloe, it's almost time. I'll take you to the airport. She slung on her backpack and started to leave. But as she stepped between us, Chloe punched her shoulder. Ow, what was that for? Where are you going? Mia stared at her in confusion. Abroad. Aren't you leaving to study? If you love it so much, go yourself. Hearing that, I knew she'd stay, and I broke into a grin. Relieved, I left with Jake. Wait for me. Outside Baxter Boxing Studio, the stunned crowd began buzzing. As if answering me, Chloe gave a barely audible hum. She raised her hand, rubbed her fingertips, and brought them to her nose. How long has it been since he held my hand? Feels different now. Not like when we were kids. Grace saw her smiling as she stared after me. Seeing how lost she was, Grace pulled out her phone to warn her. Chloe, are you sure Ethan isn't using you? A new post on KU Buzz is already trending at #1. Chloe glanced at the glaring headline. KU heartthrob drops $1 million for campus queen. Ethan Hayes is down bad. Her eyes instantly turned cold. Whether you're using me or not, Ethan, you asked me to stay. No matter what happens, I'll never let go again. Rebecca called me in to discuss Audrey. The hospital just called. Since the surgery was paid for in time, Audrey's mom got the treatment she needed. This school award recognizes your kindness toward a fellow student. And your selfless generosity. Take it. I wasn't listening and didn't take the certificate. No thanks. Audrey said she'd pay me back. So it wasn't a selfless donation. By the time I left the office, the rain had stopped. I tilted my face up and felt the sun on my skin. Only then did I truly feel reborn. This time I'd make it count. I'd cherish my career and the people who loved me. I'd never let Audrey and Nolan use me again. And I'd never love Audrey again. President, these are the files from the KU English Society. Audrey took them. Okay. When she looked up, a figure caught her eye. I stood in Rosewood Quad, and the sight of my face left her staring. Nolan Pierce walked out of the restroom and saw her. Audrey, don't tell me Ethan paying for your mom actually moved you. Don't forget. He's the one who. Audrey frowned and looked away. Of course not. She closed the file and headed toward the building. Ryan Collins rushed out, his hands still wet. He caught Nolan and Audrey finishing their conversation. Looking nosy, he walked over and bumped Nolan's shoulder. That was Audrey Prescott. What did she say? Nothing. We just talked about how her mom's doing. Ryan gave him a teasing look. She's been down ever since her mom's accident. She hasn't opened up to anyone but you. Nolan, you must be pretty special to her. Nolan smirked. I heard your families have lived together for years. You've got the inside track. Why not make a move? Once she graduates and makes it big, she'll have endless options. And one major temptation is already right here. Ryan nodded toward the courtyard below. Man, I had no idea Ethan Hayes was that hot. And that rich. A rich, gorgeous guy is throwing himself at Audrey. Aren't you worried she'll fall for him? That'd be perfect. I don't want anyone disloyal. Ryan froze. Besides, Audrey would never fall for Ethan. Ryan wasn't convinced. You're way too calm. Nolan looked into the distance. I'm not calm. Some people can work their whole lives and never reach where others started. A sudden commotion broke out, and Ryan followed his gaze. A group of famous Kingswell heiresses emerged from the athletic center. At the center of them all was the dazzling Chloe Sterling. Ryan saw Nolan staring straight at Chloe and was instantly alarmed. Nolan smiled at Ryan's reaction. Like you said, this is college. Anyone can approach anyone, and I won't waste a single chance. He hugged his books and headed toward the athletic center. As he passed the group, one book fell. No one noticed. They simply walked past each other. Night fell and Maple Hall glowed with lights. I lived in a 4-person dorm. My roommates were Nolan Pierce, Ryan Collins, and Dylan Brooks. I was washing my face when they started raving about Chloe, and I couldn't help laughing. Dylan poked his head out from his bunk. Ethan, what's so funny? We know you're into Audrey's icy, untouchable type, and Ms. Sterling does nothing for you. But honestly, if you can't appreciate a knockout like her, that's your loss. Ryan nodded wildly. A huge loss. I don't like Audrey anymore. They both scoffed in unison. You've said that 800 times. Then the next day, you're back to simping for her. Please, pretty boy, spare us. We're sick of hearing it. Their reaction reminded me of everyone at the athletic center. They'd all made the exact same face. Whatever. Time would prove it. Nolan pushed open the door. What are you guys talking about? Sounds lively. My hands froze. I slowly turned to look at him. It was the first time I truly looked at him since being reborn. I'd never forget how he kicked me down dozens of stairs. I'd never forget that bone-deep pain as I died. In my last life, Audrey said Nolan was like her own little brother. So So I treated him like family and gave him everything. In return, he betrayed me and sent photo after photo of Audrey cheating. After draining me dry, they even took my life. Their cruelty knew no bounds. I glared at Nolan, my eyes reddening with rage. But Nolan was too distracted to notice. He came over and casually put an arm around me. "Ethan, why are you getting ready for bed so early? Didn't you promise?" He suddenly leaned in and whispered, "You'd practice lip-syncing with me again tonight?" He suddenly leaned in and whispered, "You'd practice lip-syncing with me again tonight?" Practice what lip-syncing? Seeing my confusion, panic flashed in Nolan's eyes. Campus voice, "Did you forget?" Then I remembered. Every year, several Kingswell colleges held campus voice. The winner got a shot at endorsing a top music app. Nolan entered, but his submission was eliminated in the online auditions. So he asked me to sing for him. After several rounds, he made the finals. The final would be held live at Harrington Events Center. Maybe because Audrey led KU student government, he easily pulled the right strings. I'd sing backstage while he performed out front. We just had to match the timing and his lip movements. In my last life, that trick won him the championship. He became the spokesperson and broke into show business. His final performance was also streamed online. Fans crowned him the campus singing prince, and no one ever exposed the lip sync. Thinking back, I mocked myself. Of course I remember. Nolan sighed in relief. Then let's go practice. After practice, I messaged Chloe on WeChat. "Wait for me after class tomorrow." Before I could explain, she instantly replied, "As you wish, Your Highness." The smile I'd been faking around Nolan finally became real. Bright afternoon sunlight covered Kingswell University. I ran to our meeting spot with 2 textbooks. Chloe was already there, reclining beneath a cherry tree. As I got closer, I saw her eyes were closed. Chloe was already there, reclining beneath a cherry tree. As I got closer, I saw her eyes were closed. Her flawless face filled my view. She was so stunning. My heart skipped a beat. All these years, I'd only had eyes for Audrey. I'd never noticed how beautiful my childhood friend had become. I crept over and reached out to flick her forehead. But the second I moved, she caught my hand. "Little Ethan, who are you trying to sneak up on?" Chloe slowly opened her eyes, amusement glinting in her lazy gaze. "Weren't your eyes closed? You could smell me with your eyes shut? What are you, a bloodhound? Who are you calling a dog?" I grinned and instantly changed my tune. "No one. I'm complimenting your sharp nose." One look at me and Chloe knew I wanted a favor. "Spill it. Why'd you ask me here?" "I do need something. I'm planning a little stunt at the campus voice final. But to keep it off student government president Audrey Prescott's radar, only the heiress whose family donated half of KU's buildings and equipment could pull it off." After laying out my whole plan, I expected her to object. Instead, she nodded without hesitation. "Sure." Chloe immediately saw the confusion in my eyes. She reached over and knocked me on the head. I yelped and tried to fight back, but she still had my hand locked tight. "You little ingrate. I've always been your lookout. I helped you over walls and took the blame when you got caught. If you killed someone, I'd hand you the knife. This is nothing." My eyes burned, and my voice started shaking. "Chloe Sterling, you're the best. Then don't I deserve a reward?" "What reward?" My eyes burned, and my voice started shaking. "Chloe Sterling, you're the best. Then don't I deserve a reward?" "What reward?" Chloe's lips curled. "Call me Miss Chloe, like you did yesterday." Normally, I'd refuse, but I was too moved to care. I call her anything. I'd do anything. I looked at her earnestly. "Why don't I make you my big sister? You're even better than my real one." Her expression changed instantly. She shut me down without mercy. "No. Why? Afraid I'll join the Sterlings and come after your money?" "Oh, you want my money?" "Yeah. I want every last cent." "Then don't make me your sister. There's a faster, easier, legal way." "What way?" But Chloe wouldn't say. She just couldn't stop smiling. "Fine. Keep it to yourself. I'm leaving." Chloe yanked me back. "Not so fast. You haven't said it yet." The momentum nearly sent her into my arms. "If you won't say Miss Chloe, call me Big Sis Chloe." I shuddered so hard, I nearly shed my goosebumps. Chloe narrowed her eyes, glaring at me like I was an ungrateful brat. "You weren't acting like this when you begged me to stay yesterday. That was then. This is now." "Fine, forget it. Then you owe me one reward." I sighed dramatically. "Little Chloe, you've changed. You're not the sweet, innocent girl you used to be. Now you demand payment for favors." Chloe chuckled and plucked a cherry blossom from my hair. "Without a few tricks, someone would have stolen you away." At the annual campus voice final in Harrington Events Center, the place was packed. Nolan Pierce waited backstage in a white shirt. He straightened it, then texted me. "Give it everything today. Blow them away." I typed back, "Don't worry. They'll be blown away." After sitting down, Mia gave Chloe a puzzled look. "Chloe, since when do you care about singing contests?" Chloe picked up the program. Her gaze stopped on Nolan, the final contestant. A few days ago, Mia didn't get the sudden interest. She settled in for a nap. Then the host made the announcement. Please welcome our final contestant. Contestant number 10 from Kingswell University, Nolan Pierce. He'll perform If This Is Love. A clear, pure voice floated from the mic, airy yet rich. Even Mia, who couldn't care less about music, was impressed by what she heard. She slowly woke and looked at the stage. He looked so plain, but his voice is incredible. Then she noticed Chloe already had her eyes closed. Under the lights, her face looked relaxed and blissful. She looked completely lost in the music. She likes it that much? And he's wearing a white shirt, just her type. In the second row, Ashley kept nudging Audrey in amazement. Audrey, who would have guessed? Your childhood friend has an amazing voice. He sounds heavenly. Can you introduce us after the show? The crowd erupted in applause and endless praise. Nolan savored every second. But at the climax, the vocals suddenly cut out. The audience instantly stirred. What happened? Why'd the sound stop? That's weird. Nolan's mouth is still moving. Is his mic broken? Took Nolan several seconds to realize it. He panicked and closed his mouth. Casey Ward rushed up to check his mic. Strange. It seems fine. Why'd it cut out? We can get you another mic. No need. If it's fine, I'll continue. He stressed continue as a signal, but backstage stayed silent. The interruption threw me off a little. May I take a 10-minute break? As he spoke, the vocals suddenly came back. Nolan's face went white. The entire hall erupted. Mia was wide awake now. Who's singing for him? The question set off an uproar. Nolan crashed from heaven to hell. He wanted to run. But as he turned, the curtain slowly opened. My dress shoes clicked as my voice rang out, and I stepped into view, looking sharp. The crowd gasped. Mia turned to Chloe. Sure enough, Chloe's eyes were open. She stared at me on stage, utterly captivated. Mia couldn't resist teasing her. Chloe, are you watching the wrong guy? Don't you like white shirts? You should be watching that Nolan guy beside him. Today I'm into black shirts. Mia burst out laughing. Ashley stared in shock. So Nolan wasn't singing. It was Ethan Hayes. Audrey's gaze snapped to me. Audrey, you're so lucky. A guy that handsome and amazing and talented is chasing you. I'm so jealous. Just say yes already. Stop talking nonsense. How is it nonsense? Everyone at KU knows. The campus heartthrob Ethan Hayes is crazy about you. You're the only one who could resist. Anyone else would have thrown herself at him. Wait, Ashley cupped her ear. Listen. Is Ethan using this song to confess to you in public? On stage, I sang. So this is love. I can't resist. He can't resist your charm. That's so romantic. Who could resist? Audrey, be honest. You really don't like Ethan at all? As the song ended, I sang the final line. Then I searched the crowd for Chloe. My eyes briefly passed over Audrey. She instantly looked away. She turned aside, her eyes cold and emotionless. I don't like him. Really? As the final note faded, I finally found Chloe. I waved, and a smile touched her lips. In her heart, she answered, I love you too. Cheers surged through the hall. Everyone stared at me in awe. Only Nolan stood there pale, glaring daggers at me. I'd won over the crowd, but Casey Ward was still confused. Why were you singing for Nolan Pierce? I walked over and put an arm around Nolan. I wasn't singing for him. It was part of the act. Nolan glared at me. Part of the act? Rule 10 of this year's campus voice guide stresses the importance of stage design. I drew inspiration from the recent fake identity scandals and created this performance. Besides, every song that advanced online had Nolan on camera and me on vocals. Contestant number 10 wasn't Nolan. It was my contestant number. The crowd erupted again. Amid the noise, I moved the mic from my mouth and whispered in Nolan's ear. There was a backstage glitch, so I improvised. You're not mad, are you? Nolan was practically shaking with rage. When he stayed silent, I raised the mic and asked publicly, right, Nolan? He clenched his fists. After a long, humiliating pause, he admitted, yeah, I won, of course. During the awards, Nolan couldn't take the humiliation and ran off stage. Audrey watched him leave. I smirked at his retreat. This felt better than any trophy. Ashley kept going. Audrey, as your friend, I have to warn you. Having a guy like Ethan Hayes chase you is a gift from heaven. If you don't appreciate him, someone else might take him and it'll be too late. Audrey left her seat. At the same time, Chloe stood up in front. They passed each other, one headed outside, the other toward the stage. During the fan photo session, Chloe openly wrapped me in a hug. When it was time to let go, she hesitated. I hugged her back. I tried to pull away, but she kept holding on a little too long. I also felt something hard pressing against my stomach. I looked down and saw a champagne-colored box. What's this? Chloe reluctantly let go. Open it. I lifted the lid, and a rich floral scent filled the air. Inside were gorgeous fresh flowers. The card read, All hail the champ. How'd you know I'd win today? You're the best at everything. Glad you know me. Let's take a picture. Just a picture? What else do you want? Chloe looked deep into my eyes. I want to take you out tonight. Sure. But what are we doing? Obviously. Chloe suddenly raised her hand and flicked my forehead. You're paying me back. I covered my forehead. That was her second sneak attack lately. Petty. I only owe you one. Why are you in such a rush to collect? Chloe smirked lazily. I tried to get her back, but she hooked my arm. Look at the camera. Geez. That night, the dorm was empty. Ryan and Dylan had just texted me about taking me to dinner. Now their chairs were empty. It was obvious. Nolan must have dragged them off to complain about me. I didn't bother asking. I changed and went to meet Chloe, but regretted it when I arrived. I'd agreed to dinner with roommates who stood me up, so I'd refused to meet Chloe at a restaurant. Now my stomach wouldn't stop growling. I was about to ask if Chloe had eaten, but the moment we met like magic, she pulled out a cake box. Is all this for me? Yeah. Besides a dessert addict like you, who else eats this stuff? Says who? Plenty of guys love sweets. I opened a small chestnut Mont Blanc. The familiar soft, creamy taste filled me with emotion. Little Chloe, why are you so good to me? I leaned toward her, but she covered my eyes and pushed me back. What are you doing? Nothing. Chloe tried to act calm, but the change in her voice gave her away. With me staring like that, she couldn't keep her heart still. Why do you keep looking at me like that lately? Because you keep getting prettier. Your taste has really improved. Took you long enough. I've always been this gorgeous. I smiled and took another bite. By the way, what reward do you want? Be my babe. The second she said it, I choked on the chestnut cream. I bent over coughing, unsure if I was shocked or terrified. Chloe patted my back and leaned close to my ear. I meant my volleyball cheerleader. What were you thinking? My face turned bright red. You're the one who made it sound weird. You have a game? Yeah. The KU School of Business is holding a match between international business and finance. It's next Wednesday. When she said finance, she looked up to study my reaction. But I didn't react at all. Sure. I just wave pom-poms and do a pregame cheer, right? Piece of cake. You sure? Don't you want to see finance's roster first? Why bother? Whoever they have, I'll always support you. My casual words struck Chloe's heart like thunder. They sent waves through her, washing away all her doubt. All that remained was pure sweetness. I looked up and saw moonlight spilling over her. I didn't know why she was grinning, but it made me smile too. I broke off a piece of cake and held it out. Have some. No thanks. She already felt sweet enough to send her blood sugar soaring. By 10, Nolan, Ryan, and Dylan were back at the dorm. I opened the door and saw they were still up. I thought Nolan had turned them against me, but Ryan and Dylan greeted me like always. Nolan had also shed his humiliation and rage from the stage. He was happily trying on outfits. Ryan, do I look better in this sporty outfit? Or this hip-hop one? The sporty one? Yeah. Fits a ball game better. What game? After dinner, Audrey asked me to meet her downstairs. The business school is holding a game, and she's playing for finance. She personally asked me to lead her cheer squad. You and Dylan should come too. I saved you seats. There'll be tons of hot girls. Ryan and Dylan both looked at me. Pity filled their eyes. No wonder Chloe had told me to check the finance roster before deciding. Even she didn't believe I'd stopped chasing Audrey. Nolan quietly set down the clothes and watched my reaction. When my expression didn't change, his proud smile turned mocking. On Wednesday at Founders Field, the business school volleyball classic was about to begin. The field was packed before the game even started. The cheerleaders filed in, led by Nolan. He led finance's squad onto the left side. Mia saw the other side waving pom-poms and chanting. Meanwhile, their side was silent. Chloe, where's your cheerleader? Look how lively their squad is. Usually the hot guys chasing you could line up from KU all the way to ETH Zurich. Why'd they all vanish when you need them? Chloe tossed up the ball. Who says they did? Here's the volleyball. Mia was impressed by the trick. Showing off won't help. You've got the volleyball, where's the babe? Just then, a commotion broke out. Mia turned with the crowd and saw me walking onto Founders Field. I looked dazzling, drawing screams from players and fans alike. Mia was stunned again. Ashley excitedly slapped Audrey's shoulder. Audrey, the campus heartthrob came to cheer for you. That face has the whole school buzzing. What a flex. But Audrey remained calm. Dylan looked impressed when he saw me. Ryan was impressed too, but didn't dare say it. He looked at Nolan. Sure enough, the moment Nolan saw me, his eyes filled with scorn. Chloe's eyes lit up as I came into view. He's here. Who's here? Chloe smiled. My cheerleader's here. Mia grew even more confused. Chloe, quit joking. Ethan's obviously here to cheer for Audrey. As I crossed the left side and approached finance, Nolan sneered, Ethan Hayes, finance never invited you. Crashing anyway? You're really that desperate? I ignored him. I walked past him and Audrey like they weren't there. I kept going toward the right side. Audrey frowned, and the whole crowd looked confused. I stopped in front of Chloe's team with my hands behind my back. Smiling, Chloe glanced behind me. What are you hiding? I raised an eyebrow. Something good. Chloe caught the mischief in my eyes, and instantly had a bad feeling. Sure enough, I pulled a giant scroll from behind me and opened it for everyone to see. Bold black letters covered the bright red banner. Chloe's got charm. Chloe's got game. Best on the court. Remember the name. Mia spit out her water, and the crowd burst out laughing. Chloe covered her face. Little Ethan. That's so tacky. I leaned closer with a wicked grin. What's wrong with tacky? It fits your vibe perfectly. Don't be shy. Own it. Chloe raised a finger to flick me, but I was ready and dodged her. Our sweet, playful exchange became the pregame highlight. The entire field buzzed with excitement. Only Audrey watched us with an icy expression. Even Ashley felt the chill radiating off Audrey. See? A guy as handsome and amazing as Ethan will get snatched up if you don't appreciate him. Nolan was stunned too. Ryan stared in shock. Since when does Ethan know Miss Sterling? Dylan shook his head blankly. No idea. The referee blew the whistle and the game began. Everyone expected a light, friendly campus match. But something soon felt off. The two campus queens, Chloe and Audrey, were star attackers who rarely crossed paths. Yet now they were going head to head. The air between them crackled with silent hostility. The crowd even picked up my chant. Chloe's got charm. Chloe's got game. Best on the court. Remember the name. Chloe made a heart at me as I cheered from the crowd. I smiled back. 10 minutes into the game, International Business scored again. 2-0. The crowd erupted again. As Chloe passed Audrey, she smirked. Getting past you is like crossing an empty street at dawn. Audrey's face tightened. Her play grew even more aggressive. But she still couldn't shift the momentum. International Business was unstoppable, while finance fell apart. Ryan and Dylan had been enjoying the show, but even they sensed something was off. Dylan, doesn't the vibe between Chloe and Audrey seem weird? Weird? They're at each other's throats. Exactly. They don't even have any beef. It's just a friendly match. Why are they playing so viciously? Dylan paused as an idea suddenly hit him. Could it be because of Ethan? No way. Nolan still heard him and snapped back. Ethan and Ms. Sterling barely know each other. Why would she target Audrey over Ethan? And Audrey definitely wouldn't. She just wants to win. Ryan and Dylan thought it over and nodded. Nolan kept watching the game nervously. The final whistle blew. International Business crushed finance. 7-0. Players and fans excitedly rushed onto the field. Everyone congratulated Chloe, even Nolan. But the woman at the center of it all had eyes for only one person. Holding her gleaming gold medal, she pushed through the crowd and came straight to me. Put it on me. She looked up at me, her eyes overflowing with affection. Mia got goosebumps just watching. Chloe, the campus heartthrob won you over in under 3 rounds. Sure. I smiled and put the medal on her. The second I finished, she pulled me into a tight hug. Our intimate moment on the field had everyone cheering and taking pictures. Nolan nearly ground his teeth to dust with jealousy. The victory and celebration belonged to International Business. The defeated finance team looked utterly crushed. Several teammates came over to comfort Audrey. Sorry, Captain. We weren't slacking. The skill gap was just too big. Yeah. Chloe was especially terrifying. I heard she's won several Kingswell Junior volleyball championships. She's represented Kingswell many times and never lost. There's no shame in losing to her, right? It was only a friendly match. Don't take it so hard. But Audrey kept staring at the center of the crowd. Ashley knew they'd all missed the point. What Audrey cared about wasn't the score. It was me. She clearly cared, but she'd never admit it. I tried to move in surprise, but Chloe held me tighter. Don't move. I congratulated you when you won. Now I won. Don't I get a hug? I couldn't resist her pout, so I hugged her back. Fine. Congrats on winning 7-0. Chloe smiled proudly. She shot Audrey a challenging look from across the field. I have 7. She has nothing. I missed the hidden meaning and thought she was bragging about the score. Yes, you're the best. You're the pride of KU and all Kingswell. Chloe looked away and buried her face in my chest. Then am I your pride too? Of course. From afar, Audrey saw me hugging Chloe back. It was like a thorn had pierced her dim eyes. Even their corners turned red. Ashley saw through her and put an arm around her shoulder. Audrey, something doesn't add up. Ethan and Chloe never had anything to do with each other. How did they suddenly get so close? Maybe this is his new plan to win you over. He's using someone to make you jealous and playing hard to get. You're smart. You must know that. Ashley paused, then continued. But you always keep him at arm's length. Eventually, even the most devoted guy will give up. You have to give him some hope, right? Audrey's expression softened as she frowned in thought. Several guys were gossiping by the sinks when a mocking voice cut them off. Nolan came out of the restroom and scoffed. That's nonsense. Ethan isn't some rich kid. His family collects junk. The guys stared at him in confusion. Don't believe me? He told me himself. He told you? What are you to Ethan? One of the guys thought Nolan looked familiar, and quickly remembered. Isn't he Ethan's teammate from Campus Voice? The one everyone thought was lip-syncing. Yeah. I see Ethan and Audrey together all the time. They seem pretty close. Then he may be telling the truth. But if Ethan's family collects junk, how is he so rich? Running with Kingswell High Society doesn't make him a trust fund kid. Maybe he's an escort. That line of work pays well. Nolan washed his hands and left. The guys could only stare at each other in shock. From inside the restroom, I'd heard every word. I slowly walked out, startling them. They waved frantically. He said all that. It had nothing to do with us. I watched Nolan leave and let out a cold snort. I had hidden my identity at school. I'd once overheard Nolan say Audrey hated the rich. Her family had been badly hurt by wealthy people. Now that I'd stopped chasing Audrey, I had no reason to hide. It was the perfect time to move out and commute. Then I wouldn't have to see that disgusting face every day. But all the crazy things I'd done these past few years, and the awful things I'd said had deeply hurt my family. We were practically estranged. How was I supposed to go home? My grandparents, dad, and sister weren't as easy to win over as Chloe. I couldn't just charm my way out of this. What a headache. Still stressing, I ate my ice cream and opened the dorm door. Ryan and Dylan came over with bright smiles. I pulled 2 ice creams from the bag and offered them. Want some ice cream? Ryan and Dylan took them. They saw it was a premium imported brand, priced at $89 each, and stared in shock. Thanks, Ethan. As they opened them, their guilt only deepened. Sorry, Ethan. After the final last week, we didn't mean to stand you up. Nolan was really upset and insisted we stay with him, so Ryan nodded too. I shook my head. It's fine. This was between Nolan and me. You shouldn't have to be stuck in the middle. They happily crowded around me. You forgive us? Ethan, you're way too generous. Ethan, you've changed lately. Yeah, a lot. I lowered my ice cream. Have I? How? I feared the despair from my last life still lingered. Maybe I couldn't feel it, but others could see it. But Ryan and Dylan gave me a completely different answer. You shine more now. By the way, Ethan, Nolan said that at the Campus Voice final, the mic never malfunctioned. He said you did it on purpose. We didn't believe him. You'd never do that. I did. Ryan and Dylan instantly froze. A few seconds later, they laughed awkwardly. Even if you did, it's fine. You were the real singer. The room turned awkward, and everyone returned to their seats. I dropped the subject and wondered how to go home. At an elective class in Hawthorne Hall, I walked into the classroom with my backpack and saw my long-suffering desk mate, Jake Turner. We smiled at each other. Small world. We even picked the same class. I got sick last year and missed registration. The system stuck me in this obscure elective. What about you? What else? I'd spent all my time obsessing over Audrey and fallen way behind on credits. At this rate, I might not even graduate. So I started taking electives like crazy. But I was so late, only bizarre, unpopular classes remained. Jake took one look at me and understood. Let me guess. Audrey again. His voice suddenly changed. A figure in white appeared at the door. The aloof girl walked in holding her books, setting off a wave of whispers. Jake gaped and slapped my arm. Look who's here. I looked up, saw Audrey, and froze. Why was she here? With her grades. Professors from every top high-credit class wanted her. Why take such an obscure course? As I wondered, Audrey stopped and scanned the room. Our eyes met. When she kept staring, I frowned. Then she walked down and sat right in front of me. Jake's curiosity exploded, and he kept shooting me looks. What's going on? All these empty seats, and she picks the one in front of you? I frowned harder. I have no idea. Maybe she's gotten so good at treating me like air. Fine by me. Taylor Ellis walked into the classroom, seeing 2 recent campus celebrities, KU's hottest guy and one of its top female students. Instantly put the teacher in a great mood. Look who graced my class today. Pass these materials out. Today we're learning to build models. Each of you will get a mystery set of model parts. Every set builds something different. Without instructions, you must finish and submit it within 90 minutes. It counts toward your assignment grade and credits. You may help each other and ask questions. Let's build good teamwork habits. Jake opened his box and instantly felt overwhelmed. What is this? There are so many pieces. I can't even tell what it is. How do I build it? I couldn't identify my model either. Luckily, I had better luck. I only had half as many pieces as Jake. Good thing the genius is here. We can ask her if we get stuck. Jake winked at me as he spoke, hinting that I could use this as an excuse to approach Audrey. But I ignored him and focused on my model. You ask her. I'm good. What's gotten into you today? Usually, you're stuck to her like glue, following the campus queen everywhere, impossible to shake. Today she came right to you, and Ethan didn't even react. Jake waved a hand in my face. Are you brain dead? Keep wasting time and you won't finish. As soon as the bell rang, students rushed to sit around Audrey. They eagerly asked her how to build their models. She patiently answered them all. But the familiar voice she was waiting for never came. At the 40-minute mark, Audrey finished first, building a cruise ship. Beneath its grand, luxurious design were intricate details everywhere. The teacher couldn't stop praising it and held it up in front of the board. Everyone paused for a moment. Take a look at Audrey Prescott's work. The class began murmuring. It's gorgeous. Without any instructions, she built a whole ship in just 40 minutes. No wonder she's finance's top genius. Taking class with a genius is just unfair. Only one person never looked up. Audrey looked over at me. I was assembling a butterfly wing. Everyone should learn from Audrey. Has anyone else finished? More students gradually submitted their work. The teacher graded them on speed and completion. Once most were graded, the teacher assigned homework. There's also an after-class craft assignment. You'll complete it in groups. It will also count toward your credits. I'll name several group leaders. You may apply to join any group. The first leader named was Audrey. Almost everyone eagerly wrote their names on slips and submitted them to join her group. Jake was no exception. As he wrote, he glanced at me. Seeing me focused on my model, he didn't interrupt. He simply added my name too. Audrey went through the applications. When she saw the name on the last slip, a barely visible smile touched her lips. I'd never been good at crafts. After rushing, I finally finished before class ended. Done. When I submitted my pink butterfly, the teacher gave me feedback. Very pretty, but a little slow. 90 points. Thank you. All right, class dismissed. Everyone's work has been graded. I can't take all these models with me. Come choose one you like to take home. Consider it a souvenir from this class. The class immediately rushed forward. Audrey walked up and took the pink butterfly from the corner. The teacher looked surprised. When I stepped up, the teacher handed me the ship model. This was the only perfect score project today. You seem interested in model building. Take it home as a reference. I saw the 100-point score and Audrey Prescott's glaring name, then refused. Thanks, but no. I don't have any talent for model building. But before I could finish, the last model on the desk was taken. That's why you need to learn. Take it. The teacher shoved it into my hands and walked away. In the classroom, only a few students remained, whispering together. They kept shooting me envious looks. Some even took pictures. Ethan's so lucky. He got Audrey's model. Yeah. I thought the teacher would keep it. I can't believe Ethan got it. Ethan is crazy about Audrey. Now he has a model she built herself. He must be losing his mind with joy. I lowered my eyes to the ship in my hands. Quiet mockery filled my gaze. In my last life, I would have been ecstatic and treasured it. But now I walked outside and dumped it in the trash. That weekend, a message appeared in the elective class group chat. Group 1, meet at Langston Library Learning Commons at 10 for the assignment. Group leader, Audrey Prescott. Members, Jake Turner, Kevin Foster, Emma Walsh, and Ethan Hayes. The moment I saw my name, my sleepy eyes snapped wide open. Why am I in this group? As I frowned, Jake sent me a message. Ethan, Audrey actually picked you. When I submitted the applications, I thought she'd cross your name off. So many people wanted into Group 1. I can't believe it went so smoothly. Your endless one-sided crush might finally have a chance. So it was him. I closed my eyes and gritted my teeth. Who told you to apply for me? Our rock-solid deskmate friendship, obviously. I know exactly how you feel. I helped because I could. No need to thank me too much. Just buy me coconut chicken hot pot by campus sometime. I've been craving it forever. Speechless, I sent him a voice message. Since you're so helpful, sign me in and do my part of today's assignment too. Seriously? You're passing up a perfect chance to get close to Audrey? Yep. Whoever wants it can have it. Ethan Hayes. 3 hot pot dinners when it's done. Deal. At Langston Library Learning Commons, Group 1 members arrived after seeing the message. Audrey was already there, looking different than usual. No wonder you're one of KU's 2 campus queens. A little makeup, and you're prettier than any celebrity. What about compared to the other one? Audrey asked. They froze. That's different. How? After thinking a few seconds, one girl patted her chest. Let's put it this way. If I were a guy, I'd pick you. The guys beside her nodded wildly. They wouldn't even dare dream about Miss Sterling. Audrey's lips curled slightly. She looked pleased. Jake rushed into the library. Sorry. I'm not late, am I? Audrey looked behind him. Didn't Ethan come with you? Something came up. He asked me to sign him in and do his part. Just give me his share, group leader. The smile that hadn't reached Audrey's eyes vanished. No one can cover attendance or assignments in my group. He has to be here himself. Jake felt his 3 hot pot dinners go up in smoke. Isn't that a little strict? It's just homework. The teacher isn't even watching. He tried to bargain. But Audrey simply picked up her phone. Meanwhile, with the assignment handled, I pulled up the covers for another nap. Then my phone went off again. This time, in the elective class chat, my name was tagged in plain sight. Group assignments must be completed in person. Otherwise, you'll be marked absent and earn 0 credits. At Ethan Hayes, I narrowed my eyes. Audrey was doing this on purpose. Everyone covers attendance for homework. Why police it? So that's why she let me in, to make things hard for me. I wanted to leave the chat and forget the credits, but finals were near, and I was preparing to go home and apologize. Needing to retake a course would make my apology look insincere. I held back. Save my part. I'll come later. Near noon, everyone left one by one. Jake packed his bag. He curiously looked at Audrey, who'd finished long ago, but showed no sign of leaving. Aren't you going? I need to organize everything. Okay, I'm heading out. Right after Jake left, a group of guys spotted Audrey. That's the student body president. What luck. Come on, let's go over. My noon alarm rang and I finally left the dorm. There shouldn't be anyone left by now. The moment I entered, I saw Audrey. A group of student government guys surrounded her, along with a few roommates. Everyone looked up at me. The guys who'd been smiling brightly at Audrey all dropped their smiles. What's Ethan doing here? Chasing the president, obviously. He's an arts major. You think he's here to study? He sure has energy. He follows her everywhere, even during lunch. Unlike STEM and finance majors, we're always racing the clock. We barely have time for anything else. Exactly. Art students don't need talent. They just need a pretty face. Ashley's eyes lit up. I knew it. At the volleyball game, Ethan and Chloe only pretended to be close. He was playing hard to get. Audrey really knows what she's doing. One little hint of hope, and Ethan comes running back. Look, Audrey's little shadow is here. Her roommates huddled together, whispering. Their mockery and hostility practically filled the room. I smirked and turned to leave, but Audrey called out. Ethan Hayes, come here. I stopped cold. She sounded like she was calling a pet. People snickered, and my expression turned cold. How did I ever put up with this in my last life? I turned to speak when a girl named Madison Price stood up with a grin. The campus heartthrobs here. Chasing Audrey again? Bleary-eyed, she staggered toward me. The stench of alcohol hit me before she got close. I frowned and stepped back, but she suddenly threw up. Vomit splashed all over me. I went pale and froze. After Madison finished throwing up, she looked up with a grin. Much better. That feels way better. Oops, I got some on you. Sorry. I drank a little too much at lunch. Audrey came over and saw my stained jacket. That's a designer jacket worth over 10 grand. I'll pay for it. No need. I looked at her with icy eyes. I don't keep anything once it's been dirted. I took it off, tossed it down, and left. Audrey looked down at the discarded jacket. She slowly bent down and picked it up. My expression and the look in my eyes kept replaying in her mind. She'd never seen that look before. Madison curiously watched me leave. Wow, he's mad. He can get mad? Audrey, I thought Ethan never got upset no matter how often you rejected him. She turned to Audrey in amusement, but the storm brewing in Audrey's eyes startled her. Audrey, what's? Before she could finish, Audrey grabbed her and dragged her straight to the restroom. Audrey turned the cold water on full blast. The sink quickly overflowed. Audrey, what are you? Madison's words vanished beneath the freezing water. I'm sobering you up. Everyone outside had been enjoying the show, but the sounds from the restroom silenced them. Over in Pixel Lounge, students kept chatting. What are you watching? Why are you smiling like that? That volleyball game again. Chloe and Ethan were so sweet in the pregame video. Chloe and Ethan were so sweet in the pregame video. I watch them on KU Buzz every day. I'm becoming a total shipper. Didn't the comments say they don't even know each other? Maybe it was just a cheer routine staged for the game. Don't get too invested. Nonsense. They know each other. Someone said Miss Sterling was boxing at Baxter Athletic Center, and Ethan went to see her. He even called her Miss Chloe. Just picturing it is so sweet and cheesy. Nolan heard them as he passed Pixel Lounge and stopped. No wonder Miss Sterling knows Ethan. So he threw himself at her first. Playing it cool can't beat being shameless. I can't take it slow anymore. At Mercer Hall, Mia chased after Grace, while Chloe strolled lazily behind them. That sucks. Grace grabbed the celestial bow that just dropped. Chloe, the next drop is mine. You're a bench warmer. Why do you need gear? Enough. Don't gloat after getting lucky. Nolan gripped his drink and nervously walked straight toward them. As they passed, he suddenly twisted his ankle and toppled toward Chloe. She dodged in time, but his drink still soaked her bag. Nolan fell awkwardly to the floor and looked up at Chloe. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Mia came over, ready to scold him. What's wrong with you? Watch where you're going. But his expression stopped her. Why does he look like the victim? Grace took one look and saw through the act. Chloe, are you okay? I'm sorry. It was all my fault. Give me the bag. I'll get it completely clean. Miss Chloe. He called her Miss Chloe bashfully. I'll get it completely clean, Miss Chloe. He called her Miss Chloe bashfully. Chloe had only been frowning slightly, but now she radiated a chill colder than ice. She took out her books and tossed the bag in the trash. Then she turned and left. She never once looked at Nolan. Nolan stood there, humiliated and lost. Realizing Chloe was angry, Mia hurried after her. Chloe, Chloe. A flying book nearly hit her. Shut up. Why are you mad at me? I didn't spill the drink on your bag. You keep yapping Miss Chloe all day. Now every random guy says it. It's disgusting. Nolan faintly heard her and crushed the empty cup in his hand. Don't ever call me that again. Mia was caught off guard. Then what should I call you? Call me Dad. Mia suddenly remembered something. Wait, Ethan called you that at the athletic center. You didn't find it gross. You were so sweet and attentive to him. At the mention of me, Chloe's icy expression softened. A smile touched her lips. Anyone else saying it is gross? From Ethan, it sounds perfect. You're the definition of ditching friends for a guy. Grace, let's go. Ignore this boy-crazy traitor. The cup in Nolan's hand nearly collapsed. Ethan again. Why does he keep stealing my spotlight? And why does he always beat me to it? Forget everything else. He even goes after the girl I like. If I can't have what I want, he won't get Audrey either. At Westbridge racket courts. Grace, get it. Grace stopped and nodded toward the distance. Wait, Chloe. Is that Ethan? Grace stopped and nodded toward the distance. Wait, Chloe. Is that Ethan? Chloe turned around and immediately saw me leaving Langston Library. It is Ethan. She walked off the court and called loudly, Little Ethan, so this is why you ignored my texts. You were studying at the library. Since when are you so diligent? Mia wiggled her eyebrows at Grace. Ooh, little Ethan. That's awfully sweet. But Grace looked worried as she held her phone. Chloe's voice was bright and passionate, drawing looks from nearby students. But I didn't react at all. I kept walking like I hadn't heard her. Mia awkwardly moved closer. Maybe Ethan didn't hear you. Chloe raised her voice and called again. Ethan. I still didn't look over. I only walked faster. I hurried away like I was desperate not to be seen with her. Chloe's expression stiffened. This time, Mia had no idea how to comfort her. So she forced herself to tell the truth. Chloe, it looks like Ethan doesn't want to talk to you. Could Grace have been right? At the athletic center, Grace had said, Chloe, are you sure Ethan isn't using you? A new post on KUBuzz said, Ethan spent $1 million chasing Audrey. It was already trending at #1. Now Grace pulled out her phone again. There's a new post. After the volleyball game, Audrey and Ethan took the same elective and exchanged gifts. Suddenly clicked for Mia, and she slapped the ball. So the campus heartthrob is obviously using Chloe to make Audrey jealous, so he can get closer to her. That's awful of Ethan. He's using Chloe to make Audrey jealous, so he can get closer to her. That's awful of Ethan. The moment awful left her mouth, she felt Chloe's deadly glare. Say one more word, and I'll rip your head off and use it as a ball. Mia immediately zipped her lips. Seriously? Ethan's intentions are obvious to everyone, and Chloe still defends him? She's in way too deep. After that awful library incident, I wanted to go home more than ever, but I couldn't find the right opening. My grandparents spoiled me the most, but I'd made Grandpa sick last month. He was now recovering at a hospital in Berlin. Grandma was with him. I couldn't face them. I was also afraid of upsetting them. Next was my sister. Unfortunately, I'd blocked her everywhere. When I unblocked her, I found she'd blocked me too. That Scorpio girl boss sure holds a grudge. And Dad was so strict, I didn't dare talk to him. I got lost in thought. I didn't even hear Chloe call me the first time. When she called again, my phone rang. It was Aunt Serena. She was back from overseas training. Felt like a ray of hope. I grabbed my phone and ran somewhere quiet. Aunt Serena, you're finally back. I missed you so much. Serena had just landed when my enthusiasm hit her full force. I've been gone less than 3 months. Did this little ingrate really miss me that much? He probably wants something again. Nobody's this sweet without an angle. Tell me, is this about that campus goddess again? Did you hit another snag and need my help? No, I shook my head. In my last life, I helped Audrey and Nolan by shamelessly using Serena again and again. It damaged both her reputation and career. She'd fallen into a deep slump. Hearing her lively voice now made my heart ache. Thank God, we got to start over. Serena heard something wrong in my voice and panicked. Ethan, what's wrong? Is someone bullying you at school? No, I just miss you. And home. Serena understood me missing her. But missing home? Didn't you cut your family off? Yeah, but I regret it. Really? That's wonderful. Serena knew how much the Hazes adored me. Their broken relationship had always worried her. She couldn't believe Ethan had come around. Was his rebellious phase finally over? I mean it. So, Aunt Serena, can you help me patch things up with my family? I want to go home. I don't want to live on campus anymore. But Serena glanced at the schedule her agent handed her. I came back for several major competitions. My schedule's packed, so I can't get to Kingswell right away. And your family conflict didn't happen overnight. A few words won't fix it. After my matches, I'll personally take you home to the Hazes. Okay. As for moving out of the dorm, she thought for a few seconds, then had an idea. Easy. I'll arrange for you to stay with a friend. A friend? Who? Can I trust them? If it's a stranger, I'd rather stay in the dorm or live alone. Serena smiled. Don't worry. You can trust her. Especially with you. You'll be spoiled rotten. That only confused me more, but I'd always trusted Serena completely. So I agreed without asking more. Back at the dorm, Dylan freaked out when he heard. Ethan, you're moving off campus? Ryan couldn't sit still either. Ethan, why are you suddenly moving out? Are you still mad that we stood you up? Of course not. I'm not moving out for good. A friend invited me to stay at her place for a while. Dylan looked reluctant to see me go. Fine. If you move back in, tell us ahead of time. We'll come pick you up. Ryan saw how thoroughly I'd packed, and that a driver had come for me. Then he glanced at Nolan's bed, still hidden behind tightly drawn curtains. Would Ethan really come back? That was probably just something people say. His family was far richer than ours. He'd only lived here to win over Nolan and get close to Audrey. Now their friendship was over. He had no reason to stay in this shabby dorm. Ethan, if you don't come back, will we still be friends? Of course, Ryan. What are you talking about? Ethan's just moving off campus. He's not dropping out. Can we visit your house sometime? Sure, if I manage to move back home. I waved goodbye, and the driver pulled away. But partway through the drive, something felt off. We left KU and headed straight into the ultra-exclusive Briarcliff. When vast, gorgeous Lake Belrose came into view, I was stunned. Wait, isn't this Belrose Reserve? Where Chloe lives? No wonder everything looked so familiar. Serena's trusted friends were the Sterlings. The car finally stopped outside the lavish Sterling estate. The engine had barely stopped when several staff members came for my luggage. Mr. Hayes, we're here. The driver opened my door. I looked up and saw a woman standing atop the steps. She wore a pale blue silk gown, looking beautiful, poised, and sophisticated. It was Chloe's mother, Vivian Sterling, my late mom's best friend. Vivian's eyes welled with emotion when she saw me. Unable to hold back, she ran down and hugged me tight. Ethan, my sweet boy, you're finally here. I've waited so long. I snapped out of it and scratched my head awkwardly. Aunt Vivian, I'm sorry. Serena didn't tell me I was coming here, so I didn't bring a gift. Vivian wiped her tears and gave me an amused, exasperated look. Silly boy, why bring a gift to your own home? Remember, if Chloe hadn't thrown such a fit back then, you'd be my godson now. I remembered it clearly. It was my 5th birthday. I wore a custom-made little suit to the party. Aunt Vivian found me so adorable. She insisted on making me her godson right then. Both families agreed. Only Chloe objected. She did more than object. If anyone called me Vivian's son, she'd throw a fit like an angry little beast. She was fierce and adorable. Thinking of it, I couldn't resist tattling. She even said no when I asked her to be my big sister. Vivian covered her mouth and laughed. That girl. I used to think it was all about me, that she just didn't want to share her mom. Then I realized what she really wanted. Of course, being only your sister wasn't enough. Ethan, let me show you your room. No need, Aunt Vivian. I know this place well. This time, it's different. Vivian smiled mysteriously. Completely baffled, I followed her inside.